So good to be here. Good to see you guys. Quick story. You guys remember last year there was this guy who carried the Confederate flag into the Capitol building and he got arrested? Does anybody know what his name was? It was Kevin Seefried. For those of you who haven't caught on, about 12 seconds ago, my name is Kevin Seefried. This guy ruined the internet for me. If you like the show, if you like what I do, you can't look me up afterwards. Type my name into a search engine. It's just Confederate flag, Confederate flag. Even Google's just like, did you mean to contact the FBI? All my friends were jerks. All my friends were like, you're never going to be able to fly again. You're going to be on the no-fly list. You're never going to be able to fly again. I was like, yeah, but there's got to be some good stuff, right? Like, I'm also never going to have to pay for another meal at Cracker Barrel. So let's turn lemon into sweet tea, okay? I got engaged recently, which I'm excited about. Whoa, man, that was more enthusiasm than she had. Now, she's mad at me right now. We're in a fight because she found out that I was Netflix cheating. Do you guys know what that is? Netflix cheating. Alright, if you don't know, she's gonna hate this joke. Okay. Netflix cheating is basically where normally you wait to watch a TV show with your partner, right? And Netflix cheating is where you watch the show without someone interrupting the whole goddamn time. I don't know, you follow the plot! You know somebody every 5 minutes, oh, where do we know that actress from? The last scene! It's Jennifer Aniston! My fiance got so mad at me when she found out that I was watching Succession without her. She got so mad at me. I didn't know how to deal with it. I went and tried to get advice from a friend who's also in a long-term relationship, but he's in an open relationship. You guys don't know, an open relationship, that's where you're in a relationship with somebody, but you don't love each other. So I tried to talk to him about it. And I was like, yeah, man, she's mad at me because I was watching the show without her. And he goes, you watched the show without her? Not cool. It's like, dude, watching a TV series with someone, that's an intimate shared experience that you have to have in those moments with one another, right? If you go and you watch a show without her, it's going to make her feel isolated. When you come back and you watch the show, your reactions are going to be inauthentic. They're going to be false, right? It's going to make her feel unwanted, unnecessary. It's going to make her feel like she doesn't matter to you. Yeah. And I was just like, bud, you fuck other people. Yeah, I'm sorry, if I mess up, here's a spoiler. If you mess up, she gets syphilis. Why did I come to you for advice? It's tough, and relationships are tough because all of a sudden there's somebody in your life that matters more than you do, right? You care about somebody more, and I think the toughest thing is you always want them to be happy. And my fiance is a teacher, so she is not. It's difficult, man. Being a teacher is a tough job, right? You go into work every day, the kids are mean to her, the parents are mean, the administration's mean, she comes home, I'm mean. It's a difficult life. And I hate it because she has this terrible time at school, I can't do anything about it. I just have to watch, and she just gets like beat up emotionally by working in this job. She comes home and she tells me about how terrible it was. And every day I just have to watch this horrible thing unfold, and I can't do anything about it. I hate it! It's like I feel so disempowered, I can't fix it for her, you know? Sometimes, here's what I feel like. I feel like dating a teacher, it's sort of like being a fan of a team that struggles at the sport they play. Because you want them to win. And they don't. Ever. So you gotta make the most of any little victory that you get, you know what I mean? Like, so when I was a kid, I grew up in Denver, Colorado, so I was like, yeah, you're from Colorado? Awesome. So I grew up as a fan of the Colorado Rockies, and you don't know they're a baseball team? Kind of. And every year during my childhood, they were the worst team in the league until my sophomore year of high school, they won 14 of the final 15 games of the season and created a sudden death one-game plan against the San Diego Padres, the bad guys, at home in Denver. Winner of this game would go to the playoffs. It would be the first time in franchise history we make the playoffs. I'm pretty excited. I'm watching the game. It's tight back and forth all the way through. At the end of 9 innings, it's still tied. We go to extra innings. Top of the 13th inning, the Padres, the bad guys, score 2 runs. They take the lead and they bring in Trevor Hoffman. If you don't know Trevor Hoffman, he's like the second most accomplished reliever of all time. There's next to no chance that my Rockets are going to win this game. I'm starting to cry in my bedroom. But I maintained hope, right? And somehow, by some stroke of God, my Rockies tied up. We get a tie game. We have runners at first and third. Jamie Carroll's at the bat. You guys know what happens next. Jamie hits a fly ball to right field. The right fielder, Brian Giles, camps out under it. Matt Holliday tags at third. Giles makes the catch. Holliday sprints to the plate. The throw comes in. The catcher, Michael Barrett, drops the ball. Holliday slides. He's safe. The Rockets win. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe it. I'm jumping up and down. You're like, that feeling, that happiness, that ecstasy, that joy? Like that, dude. Oh, that is how I feel when I ask my fiance how her day was, and she says, can't complain. I just pick up a bag of Gatorade, pour it on her head, let's go! I don't know if you guys get this from my general energy, but I've been to a psych ward before. If you don't know, when you get to a psych ward, the first thing they do is put you in a wheelchair, just regardless of how good your legs are. They're like, I know you're at the lowest point in your life, but could you be lower? And I remember they wheeled me in, right, and they hooked me up with this therapist who was very clearly his first week because he still thought he could help. And I sat down with this guy, and he was so excited. He had this analogy he'd been waiting to use. He takes out a puzzle, and he just pours the pieces on the table, and he looks at me, and he goes, all right, Kevin, your life is a lot like this puzzle, because right now, it's a mess. But with hard work and faith and dedication, it can become something beautiful. And I thought that was kind of like inspiring, you know? So I decided to believe in myself. I dedicated myself to doing that puzzle. I put in the hard work for hours. I started to try and put together these mismatched pieces and to build one cohesive image, right? And as I did, as I worked on this metaphor for my life and I got to the end, I started to realize that the puzzle was missing a piece. I'm sorry, if you're working with someone in a psych ward who's worried there's a void they'll never be able to fill, maybe don't compare them to an incomplete board game. What's the next thing we're going to do? We're going to bring in a game of Battleship for the guys who have PTSD? Is that... Do you have guests here? Because we do have one patient with schizophrenia, I think. I don't know, man. The reason I went is I have bipolar disorder, which is actually very fun about half of the time. And if you don't know basically what it means, I can't regulate my emotions well. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I get sad, and then other times I get manic, and I get very high energy, and my mind goes a million miles a minute, and you guys can kind of see it happening right now, like high energy, and I get very irritable, right? And if somebody makes me mad, I just fly off the handle, and I do that. I just get angry at people who don't deserve it, and I don't like that part of me. I'm ashamed of that, and I worry about more people finding out about that side of me. You know what I mean? Like I have all these friends who are comedians that are worried about people finding their old tweets. And I'm way more worried about someone finding one of my old calls that was recorded for quality assurance. Pretty sure the last time I talked to my cable company, I accused them of planning 9/11. And then before they could say anything, I was like, oh wait, never mind, that would have required showing up on time. Could have been you guys. I do like DC, man. I like living in this city. The one thing I don't like about living in this city is that people are doing well. And they kind of rub it in. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I was just minding my own business. I wasn't doing anything wrong. This is a very important story. I was not doing anything wrong. I'm just sitting on the subway and minding my own business. And these two guys, they get on the subway, okay? And they're wearing suits, but get this, they were my age. That's bullying, okay? So I'm just sitting there, feeling terrible, eavesdropping, trying to figure out how I can also become friends with the Brooks Brothers. And I sit there, I'm listening, and one of them is explaining to the other one why $15 minimum wage is bad. He was like, oh, it's a tax on small companies. And then he just started using words I'd never heard before, like profit. And I'm sitting there listening, and I look down, and I realized that this guy's fly was down. My turn to be the bully. So I sit there, right? I wait for 7 stops. We get to my stop. I stand up. I tap this guy on the shoulder, and I go, hey, buddy. Yeah, when you're not explaining why the working class doesn't deserve a living wage, your fly's down. And then I turned, and the doors didn't open. Just shaking. And I feel a finger on my shoulder. And I look back and this guy goes, hey buddy, when you're done trembling like a coward, your fly's down. And it was. So I zipped up, we had a fly. And he actually offered me a job. It's $14 an hour, but I think I'm going to take it.